Welcome to episode 28 of today's Candor. I'm your host, Barika. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to tune in. As you all know, I usually release my episodes on Tuesdays, early morning on Tuesdays. I did not release an episode this past Tuesday as I lost my granddaddy on Monday. And I've just been trying to wrap my mind around that and realize that it is going to be a big adjustment. I will greatly miss him. And so I'm just releasing an episode this evening, which is Thursday, December 12th. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. In this episode, I'm discussing how we have those friends, and I'm using air quotes, and they should really be put into the acquaintance box or acquaintance zone. But those friends who want you to be 110%, 110% of the time when they're barely even making it to 50%. And I say this because, of course, it's something that I've observed. It's something that I've experienced, and it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And those type of people are baffling to me because they come off as very arrogant, as if they think they are this great friend. I think they're this great friend. And even if things aren't necessarily as bad as being one-sided, it's definitely one person showing up more often than not, or just showing up all the time. And, I always say, and I saw a post about this on Instagram. And when I saw it, I was like, I've been thinking this for years. But the post was, I don't have it right in front of me. And just to paraphrase what it said, it was stating how it said, let's make it clear, I'm not one of those friends. This is what the post said. It said, I'm not one of those friends who is going to, talk to you daily. You may not see me all the time, when you want to, but it was conveying that they're the type of friend who's going to be there and show up definitely when needed. So yes, we're going to keep in touch. We'll see each other, from time to time, but just know, we may not be hopping on the phone every day. You may not get a text every day, but it's not because I love you any less. It's not because I think of you any less. It's simply that we have things to do. We're not 18 and 20 anymore where every day I'm just constantly attached to my phone. Lifestyles are just different. We're working. We may be working and trying to run a business. I know what I have going on. And it's not about owing anybody an explanation, but one of my strong suits is that I'm a communicator. And so it's not always about telling somebody play by play of what's going on in your world. But it's like, hey, if you know me well enough, especially if you consider yourself my friend, obviously, you know that I work, I host a podcast, and just recently started a separate page on Instagram and TikTok where I'll be doing budget-friendly skincare and hygiene. So it's I'm busy, and I always respect other people's time and space that they're busy with whatever they have going on. Work, maybe a business or whatever side hustle they may be doing, children, or just other family responsibilities or obligations. But I never think that somebody is thinking less of me because they might not have texted me or called me in 2 weeks. No. One, I have too much going on. I do. I have too much going on that I'm not clocking when's the last time somebody necessarily texted or called me. Yes, if it's somebody who I know I'm used to talking to frequently, I might be like, hey, what's up? You good? But it's not like I'm reaching out because I think that you're not talking to me on purpose, or I think that you're trying to avoid me. I'm the type of person that my mind goes to a place of checking up on people first instead of assuming the worst. So you have some people who will go to a place of negativity, or, trying to say hey, you haven't hit me up, or you haven't done this, blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like they're coming at you instead of just saying like, hey, you all right? Like, you good? I'm just checking in. Like, I know we probably, like, usually we talk more and I notice that we haven't talked. I'm all well and good with that. But when you try to hit me with the, I haven't seen you, and it's almost like you're trying to guilt trip me as if you think it's something that I'm doing intentionally. Now I feel like you're just trying to rock the boat and be on just like some petty foolishness. And I honestly don't have the time for it, nor do I have the wherewithal, and surely I'm not going to entertain it. So for me, it's like, if you want to reach out to me because you miss me, or you're like, hey, we were keeping in touch and doing great with that, and I just haven't heard from you. Are you good? I'm going to definitely take that the right way. But don't come at me with, you think I'm just not talking to you. Because for me, I'm not going to say it out loud, and I'm not going to respond back to you in a crazy way. But in my head, I'm going to be like, you need to find something to do. Because apparently you got too much time on your hands to come at me or anybody else that way. It's too much. Go sit down. Like, it's not that serious. Because I always tell people, when you know somebody's heart, when you know where they are coming from, you don't even have to question that other stuff. That's just it. When you know a person's heart, you're just like, you know what? I know that person. And they might just be in a groove and just like focused on something. Like, people never go there first. People never go to the, you know what? My homegirl is probably just, I know, what she's into. So she's probably just focused on something right now. I'm at least check on her, and then we can take it from there. Like, be an adult about it. Be grown up about it. And then what's wild is, don't hit me with the, you think that I haven't been trying to talk to you, but then when I respond to you and I respond back right away, you don't. You just leave it sitting there on red. Like, I'm not your other half. Don't try to get my attention by doing something crazy. That doesn't work for me. I am going on 36 years old, and that didn't work for me at 20, and it's surely not going to work for me going on 36. Especially, and my thing is, if you're a person who's been in my life and for years you were not initiating conversations, and I was the person who was reaching out, and now, you want to come back around and say, hey, I know we need to be better about keeping in touch and doing XYZ. I'm okay with that, because I know sometimes, relationships, connections, bonds, sometimes they just fall off. It's not that something happened. It's not that something took place. It's simply that people just sometimes have to go their separate ways. Something may be going on that they just need to handle, whatever it is that they need to be focused on. And that's all their right. But it's like, don't come over here with the foolery. Don't come over here with the foolery and come accusatory when you're not getting exactly what you need from me. No. I pride myself in the fact that not only am I a communicator, an efficient communicator, okay, keyword, efficient communicator. Okay, that efficient that's the key word, because some people, I don't know what they're doing with the communication. But I pride myself on being an efficient communicator, but also I know that I'm a great friend, because when my friends need me to show up, I do. And so anyone is not confused or try to act like they don't need the obvious to be stated, I'm going to state the obvious. That showing up is clearly not just physical. That showing up is being there for somebody if they just need somebody to talk to. It's not always about giving feedback. Sometimes a person just wants you to listen and just be there for them so they can get it out. It's not the time for you to sit and try to lecture and do this and do that. There are times for that. There are times for heart to hearts, But one thing's for sure and two things for certain. When my friends have called on me, I know for a fact I'm doing what I can. And so people always like to focus on, 9 times out of 10, people like to focus on that one little thing you haven't done when they wanted you to do it. But we're not focused on all the other things. And I'm just like, that always catches me off guard when people move in such a way. Because I'm like, why are you harping on the one thing that I might not have been able to get to or might not have been able to help you? Understand, I keep telling folks, I ain't obligated to you. So don't harp on the one thing that you might not have been able to get from me, or I might not have been able to help with. But if I'm always showing up, if 9 out of the 10 times I was right there, and the 10th time it was something that I couldn't do, guess what? You should be looking at those 9 things. And simple fact is, people, once again, and it's something that most people will not do, that looking in the mirror, look in it. Look in the mirror. Understand that it'll be those same people that are trying to ask you or say to you that they feel like you're not showing up. And it's like, baby cakes, do you want me to write it down or run it down for you? Because by no means can you come talking to me like, what have you helped me through? What have you given me good advice on? Good advice. People, we have to start clarifying these things, okay? What have you given me good advice on? How have you been here for me? Because being there for your friends is, once again, not the physical show up, but mentally, emotionally, fighting for your friends, letting them know that you are there. And even if sometimes we can't help directly, sometimes it's that indirect help. So it may be, if someone is saying, if something like what just happened when I was saying, with losing my granddaddy, like when people tell you, like everything is going to be okay. And yes, I'm going to grieve, end up coping with losing my granddaddy. I will end up coping with that. But, it's not necessarily something that anybody can do directly for me to make me feel good about, or to make me feel better rather. And at this time, but I have people in my life who are just like, Barika, I am here for you. I got you. I'm so sorry for your loss. And it's just it's those little things that matter. It's not always about somebody being able to like physically do something for you, but just the right people telling you, like, I got you and like everything's good. Your granddaddy loved you. That y'all were close. So like just merely showing up, just showing up. And, I have some people in my world who definitely, like, I guess I'm just going to call a spade a spade. They just don't show up. They don't show up when they're supposed to. And it's like, I'm not everything. I'm the type of person that I'm not into broadcasting everything. And I've gotten away from always having to be the person to initiate conversations. No, I said, you know what? Let me pull it on back. You on the other side is going to have to. So I have some people who, it's not that I think that they don't care for me, but I have some friends who, surely, if I'm not reaching out, hell, I don't know when I might hear from them. And I've gotten to a point where I just don't care anymore. I don't. The ones who are reaching out, and I don't always have to be the one initiating, they know who they are. But the chasing game, the constant initiating, the being the 110% friend 110% of the time, yeah, to the ones who deserve it, to the ones who reciprocate it, to the ones who understand what it means to be a friend. I don't have time, the energy, the wherewithal to keep on, hey, how are you? I'm not, nah, You want to know what's going on in Barika's world? You're going to have to ask Barika too. It's not going to be, I'm always saying it to you. Hey, how are you doing? What's up? Are you good? I'm just checking in. No. And so people get these lines blurred, or they have a misunderstanding of, what a friend is. You could talk to somebody every single day and not have a tight connection with that person, a real connection. Like y'all mentally there. It's not like y'all can just read each other. Whether it's, y'all are in different states, or whether y'all live 10 minutes down the road, but you could talk to somebody every single day and y'all still not like that. Because it has to be natural. It has to be a flow. It has to be a flow. And I don't do forced connections. I do not. Because you end up, it's going to inevitably fall apart. And you're going to feel it. It's going to be awkward. in the midst of it all. So, but I'm very aware of I'm very aware of those who are rooting for me. I'm very aware of those who are in my corner. I'm very aware of those who show up, and the ones who don't, hey, that's fine too, because I'm not taking any energy to do anything on that side of the ones who they show up when they get ready, or they show up when they wake up on the right side of the bed. It's like, no. Mm-mm. Like, be consistent. I don't have time to figure out if you're going to be, if you're going to be good today or if you're going to be stank today. I'm not doing it. I literally have gotten to the point where I don't care anymore. And it's not about loving someone less. Like I said, it's not about thinking about someone less, but it's, you get to a place where you can't keep entertaining that. You have to, I have my things that I'm focused on, and I'm constantly focused on moving forward, growing, what I can manifest in my world, and what I need to be doing to continue to take care of myself, me and mine. Like, that's who I am. That's who I am. And I don't play about that. I don't play about that because I'm just a person of, I handle my business, and I'm very structured in what I do. And so for people who are mediocre, they don't understand that. And I'm just like, hey, I'm not here to make you understand it. You're either going to catch on or you're not. But, my parents always said you're going to have those people. They either getting on the train with you or they're going to fall off. And that's absolutely right. And I ain't holding on to you to stay on the train. Wrong person. So, I've gotten to that place. And for those of you who are very much, or very similar to what I've been saying about being that friend who shows up, but you feel like people are trying to, those people who call themselves friends, it's the ones who they're scooting themselves right down to the acquaintance zone. It's okay. Don't feel like you have to chase anyone. Don't feel like you're going to, sometimes it's the people that you might have known for 20 years that you're like, you know what? The bond really isn't like that. It's not about cutting someone off, because it's not about saying that the person's like a bad person and they're trying to do something. It's simply saying, you know what? I'm not going to be the only one keeping our friendship together. Your phone works just like mine. And I tell folks, don't say anything crazy to me when you sitting up scrolling all day. Go to your text message app and send a message, or not. Because, hey, maybe we're also not really talking like that because maybe there's not an organic connection. Maybe it's just not like that. So don't feel bad if some of your homies, you're just like, yeah, you're good, like, you're cool. But that's all we got. We don't have, there's some people you're just not going to have that with. Even if you had it at one point. You might have had it at one point, and then once again, people just go their separate ways because you're just going in two different paths. It's not about something being right or wrong. But don't come to me with the, you feel like there's some, like you're being neglected, quote unquote. Like, spare me, because that's really how I'm feeling. Like, I may not say it, but that's really how I'm feeling. So, anywho, real friends, you all know who your real friends are and who's got your back and who's showing up and who your go-tos are. Yes, we know. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Of course, please continue to follow, like, and share. I appreciate all of the support. Make sure you jump over to my new page on Instagram and TikTok, which is called Pretty Modest Glow. That page is going to be for budget-friendly skincare and hygiene tips, hacks, and product reviews of just the things that I use I'm usually going to keep it like $20 and under, just so it's affordable, because that is the purpose of it as well. Some things I may review that are over $20, but definitely trying to keep it affordable for the girlies who are very much into their skincare and hygiene routines. So I plan to start posting content on there very, very soon. And once again, that's on Instagram and TikTok as well at Pretty Modest Glow. So please also follow and share that page with those that you know. And until next time, of course, stay safe and stay candid.